A quick review. One is a condylar head. Two is a sigmoid notch. I don't think we'll have any difficulty in appreciating them. Three is a coronoid process. Four is an external oblique ridge. Five is a mandibular canal. Six is an posterior border of ramus. 7 gonial angle. 8 lower border. 9 mental ridge. 10 genial tubercle. 11 mental foramen. But the position of a mental foramen varies with an age. For the younger individuals, that's near to the lower border of a mandible. As an age increases, the position of a mental foramen migrates towards an alveolar ridge. That's because of bone resorption. 12 internal oblique ridge. 13 lingula. And lingula usually is not well appreciated with most often images. 14th hyoid bone. Usually hyoid bone is seen on right hand side, left hand side, both the sides, and even at the center, because these structures are seen at the center. Glenoid fossa. No difficulty in appreciating it. Articular eminence. Zygomatic arch. Zygomatic arch appears as a straight vertical band of radio-opacity which extends from here, right maxilla towards an articular eminence. Then posterior maxillary sinus, posterior wall of maxillary sinus, floor of maxillary sinus, zygomatic process of maxilla, hard palate. 22 floor of the orbit. Nasal septum. Again the nasal septum, it appears as a center single radio opaque structure. Incisive foramen. Usually we don't appreciate with an OPGs because the central beam is not perpendicular to the particular foramen. Inferior concha. 26 meatus. 27 frontal process of zygomatic bone. 28 pterygomaxillary fissure. Pterygomaxillary fissure, it clinically got very significance. Whenever you see Lefort 2 fractures, the space of the pterygomaxillary fissure is disturbed or disrupted. That is a classical sign of Lefort 2 fractures. 29 is a spine of the sphenoid bone. And 30th, it's maxillary tuberosity, distal to the third molar. And 31 is an lateral pterygoid plate. And again, lingual to it is a medial pterygoid plate. Usually pterygoid plates are not well appreciated with an OPG image. 32 external acoustic meatus. No difficulty in appreciating it. 33 styloid process. Again, no difficulty in appreciating it. And there are some instances where the styloid process is elongated. Then shadow of ear lobe. Again a faint shadows can be appreciated easily with an OPG film. Shadow of a nose. Shadow of cervical spine and cervical vertebrae. Usually all the structures seen at the center, as I discussed, told you, can be appreciated on right and left hand sides. Cervical vertebrae can be appreciated on both the sides. nasopharyngeal space, shadow of uvula, then 39 submandibular fossa. And here we have an interesting slide. So what is it? So this is nothing but a ghost image, that is opposite side mandible, the ghost image, that's how it appears. All the structures, they're seen on a right hand side structures, they're seen on a left hand side also, but they are not well defined. Those structures, as I told you, we call them as a ghost images. We can see this, the left hand side angle of a mandible on a right hand side, and this is always seen as in distorted, seen in opposite side, superimposed on a right hand side, and it's elongated when compared with an opposite side. Common technical errors and artifacts we come across while taking an OPG. So this is the first error, that's failure to remove large earrings. And again the image clearly shows it's a ghost image. One side is in the ring is in actual images. The larger rings are ghost images, but they're from the right side larger ring is a left side ghost image, left side larger ring is in right side ghost image. Failure to remove ear studs or earrings, that's how they appear on an OPG film. Failure to remove upper or the lower metallic dentures like cast partial dentures, that's how they appear on an OPG. Errors in positioning the patient. As I told you, we need to position the patient in all three different directions. That is, mid-sagittal plane needs to be perpendicular to the floor. Frankfurt plane needs to be parallel to the floor, and patient needs to bite exactly with the central incisors on a bite groove present on a focal trough. So to get a good quality images, we need to properly position the patient in a focal trough. First thing is an anterior-posterior positioning. Patient exactly needs to bite on a focal trough, that is a bite mark of a groove of a focal trough. If a patient is not exactly placed within the focal trough, if a patient is placed anteriorly in a focal trough, we get a distorted horizontal width. Again, if a patient is placed posteriorly to the focal trough, we get an increased horizontal width. So always remember, if a patient is having an OPG with an increased horizontal width, that is positioning anterior-posterior positioning error. Next, occlusal plane, that is, as I told you, Frankfurt horizontal plane needs to be parallel to the floor. If that is not parallel to the floor, sometimes the chin and occlusal plane rotates upwards. Again we see an horizontal elongation of an image. If the chin is too much tipped too high, that is, chin is completely placed at the higher level, that's how the image appears. We call it as in frown. That's resulting because of chin is being tipped too high. So how do you correct all this errors is we need to adjust the Frankfurt horizontal plane, and the Frankfurt horizontal plane needs to be parallel to the floor. Then distortion due to the patient movement. Whenever we take an OPG mission, the patient needs to stand still. If a patient moves while taking an OPG, what we see is a distortion of an image, where we can appreciate with the present OPG where 4344 regions are distorted. Rest and all not affected. That's because while exposing that particular area, there is a movement of the patient. There's a sudden side to side movement in a horizontal plane. Especially we see these kinds of movements with small children or pediatric patients once we take an OPG for mixed dentition evaluation. So that's how the image appears. Then blurring due to continuous shaking movement of a patient. These kind of movements we see commonly with patients with neuromuscular disorders or mentally challenged patients. And here on the left hand side of an image, we can see a small radio opaque lines. All of you can try to guess what it is. Again, there's an image. Those are nothing but hair artifacts. Someone who got a thick knotty hair, the hair knots or artifacts appear as a radio opaque streaks on an OPG film. Again, we have one more interesting image. We have a small radio opaque structure and seen with OPG. What it is? Again, it is an hair knot artifact.